Welcome to the Performance Enhancing Podcast. It's like steroids for your brain. A podcast for people looking to live life at their peak potential. Chock full of real-world tools and knowledge that you can apply in your life today. By providing you with a lens into the lives, beliefs, practices, and actions of those who are already living extraordinary lives, the Performance Enhancing Podcast will help you shift your mindset or create that change in your daily rituals and habits so you can explode with success in the areas of life that are most important to you. So get ready for another dose of Performance Enhancing Podcast with SatoriPrime. Here's your host, Elon Ferdman.
Hello, and welcome back, everyone, to another Pep Talk. Elon Ferdman here, and I wanted to do something as a follow-up to the previous podcast, which was the Sell Your Excuses podcast. I got a ton of feedback and messages from you guys. You guys seem to really like that message, and I thought I was a little bit aggressive when I got off it, but it seemed like it resonated. So actually, some people told me it was the best podcast they'd heard of mine. So that was awesome to hear. I want to kind of follow up with an interview I did of a group of four. So this is the first time I had four different people on the podcast. They started as two. They ended up becoming a foursome. And these are students of ours who've probably been with us now for about 20 months, just under 2 years, I'd say. And have gone from basically zero and in jobs that they absolutely hate to a position of closing on about $500,000 in revenue that they've generated just in the past about 18 months, maybe even less. Following their passion, following the things that matter to them most, educating, helping people. This is inside of a community that we train called the Six Figure Mentors. If you don't know about it, you can just go to our website, SatoriPrime.com, and look under home business and check out all the stuff there. But Chris and Gerard, at least what you heard in the first part, is their story of how they got into it, highs and lows, scariest moments, how the two became a four. And it's really inspiring. They're really young kids who just pushed and hustled and did what others are not willing to do. Face their fears, you'll hear some crazy stories of what it took for them to get to where they are today. And for all intents and purposes, they are living the life today. So buckle down, get ready. This is just an unbelievably inspirational story. So for all you guys that got motivated by the Sell Your Excuses video and are now thinking, okay, what to do next? The Six Figure Mentors, I think, is a really good opportunity to surround yourself with like-minded individuals like myself, my brother, our partners, Christian and Martin, people like Chris and Gerard, and their girl Sandrine and their girl Sandrine and Mare. So enjoy, listen from a position of what's possible in your life. Like us, they're not special. They weren't born with some sort of gift, as you'll hear. Chris was actually worked in mines prior to doing this. So it just takes the first step. It just takes saying, yes, I do want to go and learn a new skill, and then face the fears as they come and demolish limiting beliefs. And we'll talk about what an impact mindset has made for them. So I think you guys will really get a ton of value out of it, and I'm excited to share this with you. So enjoy part one of my interview with Chris and Gerard, the lifestyle team. All right, welcome everyone back to another Pep Talk, and I have the largest group that we've ever had at one time interviewed on the show. We've done two of us. We've done three of us. This is the first foursome I've ever done. That sounded really dirty as I just said that. I'm gonna rephrase that. This is the first group of four people that I've ever interviewed at one time on the podcast. So they call themselves the Lifestyle Team. We've actually known them for quite some time. They've done amazing things. They're a group of incredibly successful young entrepreneurs who have just taken this journey of entrepreneurship to levels that I've rarely seen. So I'm super, super excited to have them. We have Sandrine, Chris, Gerard, and Marilee, all from the Lifestyle Team. What's up, guys?
Hey, guys.
How you doing, Alana? Thanks for having us on, man. Our very first podcast ever. Yeah.
So these are like long time listeners, first time interviewees, I guess would be the word. But I brought you guys on for a very specific reason, and that is I've seen your journey from really the beginning. And for those that don't know, we're part of a community called the Six Figure Mentor Community together. And so, Chris, you started actually this journey on your own, right?
Yeah, I started on my own, and it started about over 2 years now. So I started in September 2013, and I was actually still working in the mining industry. So I was just a truck driver, working fly in, fly out. I was the kind of guy who you'll see at the pub after a shift of work, 12-hour days. That's the kind of lifestyle I was living before I came across any of this entrepreneurship, things like that. I had absolutely no idea what the word entrepreneur actually meant. When I came across this industry, I was pretty unhealthy. I didn't really like the direction I was going in. I saw myself there for the next 30 years. You always, growing up, working a job, you always have your little plan of how you can actually retire. But I was actually sitting there driving trucks every single day, just thinking, how the hell can I escape this bullshit, this reality that I was actually in? And
you're on good money.
Oh, yeah.
I was jealous because you're on really good money.
I thought I was on good money. I was on $33 an hour, 12-hour days. So yeah, I was like, wow, this is amazing because I can actually afford to buy really nice things. But it was definitely the lifestyle thing, part of it, and just seeing all my work colleagues, who I was actually looking up to. They were my environment, just wasn't where I wanted to be for my lifetime. And these guys were away from their families over half the year. That's what struck me the most. Even though I didn't have a family, I used to hate being there and just missing out on every single event, weddings and holidays, things like that, being with your families and
spending New Year's over there.
Yeah, I spent New Year's. One of my New Year's, my first year up there, was just falling asleep, waking up the next day, and then going back to work. So, I just hated working away. So, I actually missed my flight up there once, and they didn't threaten me, that they were trying to punish me and things like that. I'm like, fuck this, I want to do something else. Don't treat me like that. And I was thinking about actually going back to university because I was at university before, and I wanted to become a school teacher or something like that, where you could have more holidays and things like that. I just wanted more holidays.
Chris, how old were you? How old were you at the time?
I started working there when I was 22.
Okay.
And I was only there for about a year and a half. It wasn't a long time. That was my first full-time employment, because prior to that, I was actually studying at university, and I finished my qualifications to become an accountant. But I wanted to be on more money than $50,000-$60,000 a year. I actually got dragged into accounting.
Exactly the reason why it's kind of like how Chris introduced me to internet marketing. He's the guy who thinks big. I think small. I always think of just live in the suburbs, 30-year plan, ordinary house, and family, all that stuff. Live just like an average life, like everyone else was. And Chris opened my mind up. Is if you become an accountant, there's a structure here where you can work your way up, and then you can end up on $200K a year or something.
Get your chartered, finish your accounting degree, get your chartered accountancy. I gave him a massive spiel, and then all of a sudden, I wanted more money as soon as I got out of university.
Yeah. So he's the one who conned me into accounting, and then as soon as he finished his degree, he completely threw it away and just went to the mines. And I was actually jealous because he was on earning double what I was earning. And so yeah, that's how that started.
And by the way, for people that don't know, you guys are brothers. And what's the age difference between you two?
Only 1 year.
1 year. Yeah.
We've been with each other our whole lives. I've really been separated. But yeah, in the mines, I actually came across he's our mentor, Stuart Ross, just online, and I was looking at these guys making millions and millions of dollars a year and living this kind of lifestyle that we could never ever dream about or attain. How could anyone possibly live this kind of lifestyle? That was 2 years ago. safe to say we're actually doing that now. But I was like blown away by this online marketing industry, and I actually came across another couple who were online marketers. Their name is Lee and Tammy. Like, they were living this lifestyle as well, and they were banging in like $30,000 a month. And I just thought, this is absolutely crazy. Like, how can anyone like do this? So
let me ask you something, because a lot of people that are looking at this kind of online world and are thinking, okay, this sounds really good, but then the next thing out of their mouths is always, this is way too good to be true. Like, they have to be lying. This has to be a scam. You know, they're just trying to sell me the dream. How did you get yourself past that? I mean, I get the whole thing that you're in a mine. You're like, well, at this point, you know, I really don't want to do that. Maybe this is just worth a try. But how do you get yourself past all that resignation and kind of, you know, scam mentality?
Well, when I was in the mines like 2 years ago, looking at this stuff, there was a heap of bullshit crap out there. But
Quick button,
click button stuff. I bought a lot of like click button stuff, like sit on your ass, click some buttons, make lots of money, and these people trying to scam you with their mansions and things like that. But it just came down to like authenticity of like people I was watching and following, and I just saw how authentic and real they were. They were like no bullshitting, nothing like that. So that's what got me, just how authentic like these people who I actually chose to listen to. I trusted them. They were like real people. Like, that's what got me. Like, you can actually see online a lot of the bullshit's kind of like, it's not as much out there as there was like 2 years ago when I was looking for these kind of opportunities. I just stumbled across it actually. I was looking at like real estate, things like that, but it was just authenticity of people is what really got me like to trust someone. You got to earn someone's trust online before you can really make any kind of decision.
And when Chris actually mentioned this whole, you can make money on the internet kind of thing, I didn't know you could make money online. Like, to me, I was just like, no way. And as an accountant, I'm pretty, I overanalyze, and like, when he showed me, you know, what he was doing, I would bring up like as many negative points as I could, try to prove to him that what he's doing is like a scam or something like that, and you can't just make money online. It's like, to me, that's just a whole different language. And I remember actually the first time when I was working at my job, like I went into the accounting field, and I remember he made like $4,000 in like one night, and that was how much I worked for a whole month for. And I remember it was during a really, really busy period, so I was doing lots of overtime and I was really stressed out. And Chris had already quit the mines because he found this whole new dream he was going after.
That's how quick I actually took action. Like, I'm on an $80,000 paycheck. I buy a $30 product, and the next day I hand in my resignation. I say, fuck it, I don't want to work here anymore. I'm going to make this work. So that's the position I was in, and I actually I quit my job, but after a month I thought I'd be on $100,000 or something. Didn't happen. I had to go back into working. So that's how it happened for me. Like, as soon as I saw this opportunity, I handed in my resignation, like no questions asked. I had to make this kind of work.
Yeah, and I was still in the paradigm of because obviously I didn't believe in making money online, and I at the time hadn't ever heard of this whole idea of systems automation or any type of passive income. I didn't know what the hell passive income was. My paradigm was trading time for money, and I always looked at, you know, how do people pull in $30,000 a month? What kind of hourly wage are they on? Like, I know that the wealthiest employees I worked with, upwards of 150, maybe 200K if they're, you know, the partners at my firm. And I know that for them to earn that money, they were on a good hourly wage, and they're also working their asses off. And I was just like, how the hell can you do like 30K a month? Like, to me, it just didn't sound right, and I didn't know how it all worked. So I was just ignorant to it all. So
obviously,
how long, by the way, would it take an accountant? An accountant's a good job. I mean, even in this country, like, that's a really good, solid job. How long do you think it would take an accountant to get to the level where they earned $200,000 a year?
Jesus. You'd have to be on. Well, I was on $35 an hour, and I was on $4,000 a month or something like that.
So how much were your CEOs on how long did it take them to get there?
Oh, okay. Like the maximum you could ever earn as an accountant is if you became a partner at a firm, kind of the way traditional like lawyer firms are and all that stuff. You work your way up, and you can be doing like $500,000 maybe.
20 years.
In 20 years.
You actually earn up 200.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, a good 20 years. Like you have to do a lot of time to get to those levels. And that was always my plan. So I was just like, you know what? And that's the reason why people do the corporate ladder thing, because they look above and they see the good money, and like that becomes their motivation. Their day in, day out. They put themselves through the grind, through the commute. They even when times are really bad and they're on the cusp of giving up or whatever, they always keep their vision is that corporate ladder. That I want to be on top of there. Little do they know is that even on top of the corporate ladder, and I've seen it, like I've stayed back a lot of times and seen the CEOs, the partners doing later nights than what we were doing, having their family call them up and ask them why they're not home again, and them having to give excuses away in a busy period. And that happened for over 2 months. And I was just like, well, what's good of earning all this money if you can't even enjoy it? And that was a big red light for me. And it was one of the turning points, but the biggest turning point was because I was just fed up and sick of being an accountant. And I remember going to Europe for the first time when I went away for 6.5, 7 weeks. And I saved up for about 12 months to go on that trip. And I remember coming back and thinking it felt like I never left. So, straight back into the grind. And I was just like, what's the point? What's the point of this? Because you work so hard for a little bit of excitement. And that's what essentially everyone does in a 9-to-5 job. We're all working for the weekend.
Absolutely.
And you're that stuffed by the weekend. You probably have a boozy night, whatever well, when you're young, you do anyway. But
Get away from reality.
a lot of people just rest up so they can recover. And then Sunday comes along, and they can't believe Monday's coming again, and got to do this merry-go-round again. And then the years pile up, and then all of a sudden, you've just been doing something you don't love for many years, and you actually haven't got much to show for it. So that's the amazing thing about where we've come to now. You guys
caught it so early, though, and that's the thing that just amazes me about all of you is most people will suck it up or grind it out for, let's say, 10 years, right? Like they'll get an accounting job and they'll start making money, or they'll even work in the mines and it's good money. Like you said, you got to afford nice things, and they never look up that ladder to see how those people are living, because for them, they're making good money. They have a good life. For me, what I've seen mostly people that are 35 plus, 40, kind of start like looking up that ladder and going, wow, that's where my life is heading. Like if I stay here, that's it. And then they just wake up one day and go, I can't fucking do this for another 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it is. And that's when they have that light bulb moment. It's just really amazing that you guys were just starting out and were already seeking these other opportunities. I want to bring it back to your story because I want to kind of tie in how like the four of you are here now. At some point, you guys started like rocket ship status, right? Like let's just kind of put things in comparison, because you guys have been throwing around numbers, like $200,000 a year for an accountant and $30,000 months, and you were just like, what? Just can you guys share with people, if you're comfortable, like what kind of results you guys actually produced and in what time frame, so people get a scope of who they're actually listening to right now?
Okay, so me and Gerard, before we actually partnered up in October last year, and we actually sat down, came up with a business plan of how much money we actually wanted to make online. And we actually didn't hit our income goals, but this year we've done over $400,000 US.
Oh, that was well, 2015.
Yeah.
So what actually happened was in September last year, we left our corporate jobs.
It was actually after I met you back in London, and I was too scared to put my hand up and say a word. Scared to speak to Stuart Ross. Had a couple of beers. I'm like, fuck, I can't believe Stuart's here. How do I speak to the guy? now we're just like happy family.
But anyway, I remember I wrote like what we call the meta story. You know what I mean by that. It's kind of creating your ideal scenario. And the plan was our first 3 months from October, we hit our first 10K. And I remember waking up, and I was traveling at the time. I'd quit my job. I was actually living the lifestyle that I always wanted to live. And the income wasn't flowing like I wanted it to be. But at the same time, like this whole lifestyle I was going for, that laptop lifestyle, it actually happened while I was away having holiday. And it's amazing. I'll go through like our figures in a second, but our biggest months we've ever had online have always been once when we're overseas. Yeah. So we're like,
we're not working.
Yeah,
most hands off. Yeah.
It's so hands off. So in October we did 10K. December. Sorry, December 2014 we earned our first $10,000. In January we did another 10,000. In February we doubled that. And I remember Chris said, "Do you reckon we'll ever hit?" I remember I said to Chris, "Do you reckon we'll ever hit $20,000?" And he goes, "We'll do it this month." And I'm like, well, that's like double what we did last month. How can you double your income? I mean, people work
in a month.
People work do a 2-year slog in like corporate career to do 2%. So we doubled our income in 1 month, and I was just like, wow, what the hell is possible? So then,
did the same in March 24.
Did 24 in March, and then April we went 30 or 40,
46,
40. Yeah, so we doubled that
again.
Amazing.
I was like, holy, like what? That really made everything just possible, and we just got and then basically our income went from 40.
But then he asked me, like, do you reckon we'll ever do a 6-figure month? Yeah. And he's speaking in Australian dollars. And I said, we'll do that in 2 months. And by June, like, we done 84,000 US. And got deposited 110. And, awesome. You know, all these crazy figures that you think, oh, can you really do it? You seriously just go back to the drawing board. We understand our business model, and we understand that we can create whatever income we actually put on paper. So we've got big goals like this year. We started, let's just do $1 million. Now we're saying, no, let's do like 1.52 million. And we're going to the drawing board, and we're actually on target to do these kind of crazy numbers in such a short time period. Like,
yeah. So basically, when we did the 46K, that happened when you guys were in Bali. And then interestingly enough, 2 months later, we doubled that again. Like you just said, we did $86,000. And funny enough, we were in Bali again.
You guys should move to Bali.
Yeah. And we filmed a video. I think it's on our homepage of GerardandChrisOnline.com. And we're just sitting there on a cliff edge with a few mates having a drink for a mate's birthday. And we're just like, yeah, we did $100,000, and I thought it'd feel a bit different, but we didn't feel any different. I don't think it really hit us at that time. I mean, our bank account just kept growing, and we were just like, I don't know, it doesn't feel real, but at the same time, we didn't care about the money anymore, because our understanding is that money is so easy to make now online, depending, you know, if you find the right business model, if you have the right mindset, you map it out and you plan for it. Then we're thinking, you know, the lifestyle is what we love way better than the money, because being able to pick up our laptops and generate an income, or go overseas and have our business with us, doing something that we love is way better than the money. But for the rest of 2015, we got pretty comfortable, didn't we?
We actually don't see money as real. I said it to him from the start when we were, you know, starting out. I said, it's just a number in the bank account going up and down, up and down. Like, that's all it is to us. And that's the way, it's an idea. That's the way we actually looked at money. So, what was I going to say?
At what point At what point did the 2 become 4?
Okay, we'll get into that.
Yeah. All right. So
we got into 3. Let's start with that.
Yeah. So it was actually it first happened. You go.
Yeah. Well, it first happened. Well, I actually
People are watching the video and they're like, "There's these 2 really, really cute girls just sitting there. Are they there for show? Like, did they pay them to just be around?"
Oh my god! No, I actually joined forces with Gerard and Chris when they actually got together in October of last year. But I didn't really fully get into it until maybe like January or Feb or early this year. But I started off, I went to Australia from the Philippines, 2010, did a marketing degree for 3 years, went straight to full-time work. So I did my normal 9 to 5. And, I was really interested. It was my first full-time work. I was doing something that was aligned with my degree, super excited. But like Gerard said, this whole idea of time, like, about get time for money type of thing, it really started to take its toll on me in terms of the long hours. I was so stressed. Like, honestly, I was working overtime every single day. It affected my health really badly. Wasn't able to, spend time doing things I loved with other people. And yet I thought this was my safety net. I couldn't do anything else. I thought this is my only way to make a proper living and to secure my financial future. Let alone did I know that that was completely the opposite thing I was doing. So I was doing that for 2 years, excessively slaving my time for money. And then it was the 5th of August, I will remember this specifically, it was the 5th of August of 2014 where everything literally changed for me. So I was called into like a meeting in my company and was told that 50% of people were to be let go. And so it was at that time where I truly realized, like, wow, what was this 2 years of saving my time for money all for? Because I was going to go back to square one.
Wow.
So at that time, I really did have 2 choices to make. It was either I go back and find a related job, which is what a lot of people would normally do, or I look into something else, which is working for myself. And at that time, Gerard and Chris were doing the SFM, and I didn't really know much about it. Firstly, when they were explaining to me, I thought it was just a scam. I see all these things online, like how could someone possibly make this much money and travel the world? It just did not make any sense to me. It was completely foreign. But then again, I was just so sick. I did not want to go back to work. And I knew that didn't challenge me, didn't make me grow as a person, didn't really help me reach my end goal. So I started looking into the SFM and just the way that these boys grew, in terms of being leaders, in terms of just having a completely different mindset about like how to live life. Like I saw that firsthand. And so I was intrigued. And so I started looking into the SFM, but it didn't really get to me until I truly understood like what a whole lifestyle business was, and how one actually runs a lifestyle business online. So when they were explaining, this idea of not trading your time for money, but selling products in exchange for money, leveraging the internet in exchange for money, that was so foreign to me. But in a sense, it made so much. It clicked to me for some reason. Yeah. And I was looking at Stu and Jay, looking through this video series, and then just like what Chris said, their authenticity shined through. And they were so genuine. And they framed it in a way that it's not like a simple click of a button and then you get this much money. Yeah. It's like any business. You work hard for it, but then you reap the rewards later. Yeah. And it's a matter of doing the work once and letting the business work for you. So in that sense, it really clicked to me. And I decided to I didn't go back to a job. I decided to join forces with these guys.
The original plan was, when she got made redundant, her world came crumbling down.
I was a complete mess.
She came home crying, but I was just like, why are you crying? Why are you upset? Like, just join us. It's fine. It's just
They just gave you a gift from God.
It's a sign.
There's nothing bad about getting fired.
But I remember because she came home and she didn't know because she built up her whole life around, getting the degree. She actually did a marketing degree.
Yeah.
So
by the way, I did not apply any. Sorry.
I was going to ask, what of the marketing degree, because you went to school for it, actually applies to real life marketing?
Absolutely not. I have not actually applied anything that I've learned from 3 years of studying marketing. It was a complete waste of time, and I spent so much money just getting that degree. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, but it was crazy how much like you learn this whole skill of online marketing like under 3 years, and yet you can do so much of it and you can apply it to everyday life. You can earn while you learn. This is what the SFM is all about. So
I remember because when she came home from her job, completely distraught, didn't know what to do.
My life was ending.
I was like, look,
in my head,
look. Me and Chris have started this business.
Yeah.
We had no results. So we just had a vision. We're like, you should just join us. Like, don't worry about going back to work, but it was very scary for her because
it was just completely
she's
foreign
fearful
to me.
for us as well.
Yeah.
She's like, what if this doesn't work? Like, what if, and that was our biggest fear all the time, having to go back to a 9-to-5 job. And I just said, like, just join us. So she actually was doing all our branding, social media and stuff for GerardandChrisOnline.com.
It's just the back end.
And then what ended up happening is that you had your own creative flair and you found your passion in it.
Exactly.
And like I want to start a brand.
Yeah. Now, throughout all of this, just as working in the background for Gerard and Chris, as I built the first Gerard and Chris Online, it was all right. I kind of liked what I was doing, but it's once I started to get into the community, and really like start to I had this underlying passion of becoming like a leader, which I never thought I could. And the fact that the SFM kind of brings that out of you, it unleashes that side of you out. Like, I never thought, like, when I think of myself now to how I was back when I was working 9-to-5 job, I'm a completely different person, if not the better version of myself. So just joining the SFM and just joining this business with the boys, it's really taking this crazy side of this leadership and this entrepreneurship side that I never thought I had in me. And it surprised me. It surprises all of us every day. It challenges us every day. So it's absolutely amazing.
So she created lifestyledesign.com. She was the one who created everything. And we were like, let's
integrate everything together.
Let's just do this together now. So
I don't even know how to create a website.
Chris doesn't know how to create a website.
I have one more question for you I have one more question. Yeah. So Marilee, like if because you experienced something pretty traumatic, which I think a lot of people do, right? Either getting let go, their company gets shut down, all that stuff. Like, that's something that everyone can kind of resonate with, whether it's their family member or themselves. Given, you said something really interesting. You said that I feel like the best version of myself today because of the experience that you've done, even though you've been doing this for shorter than when you were in that company. Here's my question. If all of this was to disappear tomorrow, for whatever reason, like let's say SFM sent out an email and was like, listen guys, we're shutting down the doors. Sorry, thanks for all your blah, blah, blah. How different would your outlook on life be today? Given that same scenario, like company says, sorry guys, we're closing our doors.
Yeah.
So now that you've done this, how different would that be for you?
Well, it's absolutely different now because not only did I change personally in terms of, finding this entrepreneurial side of me, but the things that you learn through the SFM, so these skill sets are a lifetime. You can actually apply this anywhere. So if the SFM did shut down tomorrow, I know those skill sets. I know exactly what I need to do to, earn a decent income without actually going back to 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
So I've learned how to really become self-reliant, just going through this whole journey as opposed to just relying on someone else to give me, a job and living from paycheck to paycheck. Right. And that's the great thing about being the SFM. It's made you become so independent. You realize you have a potential within you to really do something with that and make a decent living, like learning these skill sets as opposed to just relying on someone else. So my mindset has completely changed. I'm no longer scared. I don't act from a place of fear anymore. Usually if I was working 9-to-5 job and something didn't work out, I'd go back and try and find comfort with someone or tell me that everything's okay. But now that I know that within me, I can make things work because I've learned these skill sets and I've learned how to, personally grow throughout this journey as well. So
awesome.
Everything has changed. Like I said, I'm a completely different person now.
Yeah, it's just so amazing to just listen to your guys' story and your guys' journey and see that even in this short period of time, how much it alters you. And I love that you're present to how much it alters you. A lot of people are just kind of like, they make the money or they do this, but they're not present to how much they're shifting. So it's really interesting that you have this kind of dichotomy of those two worlds. And good for you for taking whatever the experience was and realizing like what you guys have built is your own brand, period, end of story. Whatever happens from here on out, and hopefully for all of us, SFM will stay around for a very long time. I think it has a very, very bright future. But having said that, isn't that amazing to know that like
It is.
2 years later, if someone tells you like, sorry, you're out, you'd be like, okay, great. Next.
That's fine. Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
But that's the thing, because you're no longer fearful. Like, all your decisions you make is just out of like wealth and abundance. You have that abundant mindset, and knowing that you can generate an income online, like despite what systems or whatever you use, knowing that you are self-sufficient now is a really good place to be, because you'll just keep moving forward. And that's the thing, like even the way we market and everything, where we fail way more than we succeed. But that is actually one of our secrets, because we're not scared of failure at all. Like if you talk to us for long enough, you'll understand we're pretty ruthless, and we understand that the universe will pay us back because we do the work. Yeah. Like people don't, it looks like our brand, we don't work. Well, we work harder than most people do, but we absolutely love it. And the only reason it looks so effortless is because we love it.
Yeah.
We love what we do.
Yeah. Guy said this line, I think, on one of the SFM webinars, and I wrote it down because I thought it was so brilliant. He goes, the reason we get results better than you is because we work way harder than you. And I thought that was so funny. But it's like, look, this is what I said in the beginning, right? From the outside, especially because it's a lifestyle business and people are looking at you as like, you're traveling the world and all that stuff. Obviously, that's the brand, right? Like that's the idea of it. But that's the tip of the iceberg. And I think you said the line, which is, it's not work. It's building skill sets. It's building relationships. It's building a better understanding of who you are as a person, what you can contribute to the world. And that's like, I could do that for free for the rest of my life and still be the most fulfilled person on earth. The fact that we get paid for it is like, what? People actually pay me? It's like crazy. Well, hopefully now you're sufficiently inspired. And if you actually want to go do something about it and want to figure out what the system is and the kind of training that Chris and Gerard and his team have gotten and what we've been doing for the last 4.5 years and how we've gotten to where we are today, here's where you need to go. Type in sellyourexcuses.com. Go to that website, sellyourexcuses.com, and pick up the 7-day free bootcamp. Just click on that video, pick up the bootcamp videos. It'll give you 7 videos in 7 days, and you can get a really good, clear understanding of what it is that we're up to and what it is that we're doing, the lifestyle team is doing, etc., and see if it's a fit for you. Because doing what you're doing, trying to produce a new result in your life is probably not going to happen. If you really want to make a shift in your life, you're going to need to do something new, and at least give yourself the opportunity to go listen to what's available out there now that technology has shifted and now that opportunities are really opening up for people like yourself every single day. So again, sellyourexcuses.com. Go check it out, and I'll see you on the next Pep Talk.
Did you run through doors till you hit the floor? Did you read my eyes and my aching thoughts? Did you walk through walls till you had to grow? Oh my God, your smile and my soundless calls. head.